Hi, I'm Gerald Patterson, and the title of my speech is Quality Quotations. Jesus said, "I speak this in the world so that they may share my joy completely." The remarkable thing about fearing God is when we fear God, we fear nothing else. Whereas if we do not fear God, we fear everything else. Oswald Chambers. Do not spare yourself. Life is not a home for children, but a task that will wear you out. Dr. Frederick von Gagern. The rebellious spirit of Antichrist, alive today, with its audacious assumption of man as an autonomous being, is both infectious and seductive. Dr. Frederick von Gagern. In the child and in our treatment of the child rests the solution to the problems that confront the state and society today. Alice McClellan Birney. She was one of the founders of the PTA many years ago. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Albert Einstein. The greater and more persistent your confidence in God, the more abundantly you will receive all that you ask. St. Albert the Great. One of the sure signs of maturity is the ability to rise to the point of self-criticism. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A man can fail many times, but he isn't a failure until he begins to blame others. Ted Engstrom. To live is to change, and to change a lot is perfection. That's Cardinal John Henry Newman. Man or mankind is destined by nature for a life of growth, a life of increasing fulfillment. Dr. Frederick von Gagern. To give meaning and reality to our existence, we must first feel this need for perfection, and then yearn and strive toward its fulfillment. Dr. Frederick von Gagern. In a rightly ordered life, the struggle is toward perfection, toward the final real good, God. Dr. Frederick von Gagern. God did not create us for sorrow, but for happiness. Dr. Frederick von Gagern. Wrong attitudes, conscious or unconscious, on the part of the individual lead to mental and spiritual disorders. You do not help the poor if you bankrupt your country. To hate and to fear is to be psychologically ill. It is in fact the consuming illness of our times. We are not naturally good. We have to work at being good. Dr. Laura Schlesinger. Gratitude is the cure for unhappiness. And the highest happiness is to be in harmony with the highest good, God. Access to a waiting list is not access to health care. Whatever things are true, whatever honorable, whatever just, whatever holy, whatever lovable, whatever of good repute, if there be any virtue, if there be anything worthy of praise, think about these things. St. Paul. In his state of self-glorification, he refuses to recognize his weakness. Full of pride and vanity, he is unmovingly convinced that he is so completely right as to need no change of any kind. We live on the surface because an inward deepening would uncover all that is not good within us. An inward deepening would uncover our secret fears. Dr. Frederick von Geger. Thus we fly to the crowd in which we can lose ourselves. We fly to the pattern of a morally sterile social system. Dr. Frederick von Geger. We fly to a formal reality, guided not by the law of individual conscience in its responsibility to God, but by the rule of what is customary. Dr. Frederick von Geger. We must not forget that the man or woman who seeks to discredit his rival is usually himself the victim of an inferiority complex. God took men and women so seriously that he gave them freedom of choice. Further, one must take oneself seriously, coming to grips with the evil in oneself, which is ever striving to lead one astray from the true meaning of life. This force must be recognized and encountered. Every sort of evil, as St. Thomas says, is an offense against wisdom. It is because we are not serious enough that we have not enough of that inward cheerfulness of those who place their confidence in love and in God. The man or woman who perceives the meaning of life to lie in striving for perfection, for that man or woman, it matters little whether he dies tomorrow or in 20 years or in 50 years, because his life always has a meaning, filled with patience and the hope of eternal happiness, according to the promise of his faith. The believing Christian, in reality, can never be a fundamentally unhappy man or woman. In its outer form, the, quote, a good life may be so manifested that we fail to recognize the actuality of spiritual death. Gratitude and joy are brother and sister. Lord, you are my help, and in the shadow of your wings I shout for joy. That's from one of the Psalms in the Bible. And you will show me the path of life. You will show me the fullness of joy in your presence, O Lord. It's also from a Psalm in the Bible. And finally from St. John's, I believe it's from St. John's Gospel, Jesus says, "These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be made full. Thank you for listening. This is on YouTube. It's called Quality Quotations under my name, Gerald Patterson. And also check out part 1 of Quality Quotations also. Thank you.